Hello, my name is Aimee St-Pierre. I'm the editor-at-large here at New York Nonprofit Media. And we are at the board table today with Ron Bezoza and Aditya Sangvi with America Needs You, which is a nonprofit which helps low-income first-generation college students succeed in college and in careers. And the CEO there is Kimberly Harris. And I just would like to say, first off, congratulations on being a Silver Prize winner for the New York Community Trust Nonprofit Excellence Awards. And I also understand that recently you've expanded from your home base in New York to New Jersey, and then also to Illinois just last year. And basically, I would like to talk a little bit about the board's role in that kind of expansion and that kind of success. But if we could just, to start off, Ron, if you'd like to just share with us sort of your elevator pitch, or how you would introduce America Needs You to a potential board member or funder.
Sure. So I'll start by reading off our mission, and then I can talk about what that means.
Mm-hmm.
America Needs You fights for economic mobility for ambitious first-generation college students. We do this by providing transformative mentorship and intensive career development. First of all, the need is great.
Mm-hmm.
First-generation low-income college students do not complete college at an alarming rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a lot of programs and focus on getting young people into college, to getting them there, and the focus is get to college, get to college, get to college.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're there, there's many forces at play. One is they may not be so aware of why they're there and what they want to achieve while they're there. And also, for first-generation low-income students, family forces and other outside things may pull them away from completing their studies.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we provide an environment which provides mentorship and coaching and career development opportunities such that people stay and complete, and also find their true passions, which yield to rewarding careers.
Great. Aditya, if you could just tell us a little bit about like your full-time work and how what of your skills and what of the resources of your employer you've been able to bring to bear to bring value to the board.
Yeah, sure. So on a full-time basis, I work at McKinsey, and I'm a partner there, and I lead our real estate work and a lot of the work we do in private equity. The ways that we bring the skills is really by thinking about the fellows first, so the students that we're trying to help, and then trying to think about how do we build the rest of the infrastructure and what we do all in the service of supporting them. So what we've done over the last year is that there's been a band of McKinsey folks who care a lot about the organization, many of whom are mentors, who have worked with the board to try to figure out how do we scale, and how do we scale in the right way that's going to help from a financial responsibility perspective, but most importantly have the most impact for as many students as we can.
Yeah, actually, speaking of scaling and resources that you bring to bear, can you just tell us a little bit about some of what the board's role is in helping to maintain relationships with funders, and you have a number of corporate sponsors as well?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as a board, we view our primary responsibility to do whatever it takes in order to make sure that our great program can continue for the students we have in New York and in Chicago and New Jersey, and then can scale as much as we can. And that involves ways in which we can do creative partnerships to try to bring this to colleges, to bring that to foundations that want to sponsor it. But then, as you mentioned, the corporate sponsors as well. For us, the corporate sponsor pitch is pretty easy, because a lot of the corporate sponsors themselves are actually looking for this student profile. And what we basically do is that we take high potential students who are low income or first generation, that with the right little bit of push, both in soft skills and hard skills, can be incredibly successful. And then we match them up with those corporate sponsors that are looking for exactly that talent, and exactly that talent that's already been trained. So for us as a board, going to corporate sponsors, we use the folks that we know, we tell them about the idea, and almost always it aligns exactly with what they're looking for anyways, and that's how a lot of the sponsorships come about.
And speaking of using the people that you know and your board just in general, for either of you, it seems to be a very diverse board. It seems like you've got Princeton graduates, Harvard MBAs, a lot of young people, mostly male it seems, but very, very, very diverse ethnically also as well. Can you just talk a little bit about like how you find your board members and how this group of people congealed?
I'll start because I take note of your mostly male comment, which is true, and we're aware of that, and we're actually expanding. So we're looking for more board members, particularly female board members is something we're aware of. And a lot of it's been personal network, and I think, once people come and see, and they actually come and speak to our fellows, it's transformative for them, and it's transformative to the people that come and view what they're up to. So one of the things we do is we build a pipeline of potential board members through personal network, and Kim, our CEO, has done a great job as well of identifying people. We bring them to one of our weekend workshops so that you can get a sense of what we're up to, speak to fellows, get a sense of what their experience has been, and it helps us recruit more board members. And I'll add that particularly in building out Illinois, which I know we'll talk about, is that's something that was identified. Of course, we need to form a board, and we have some board members, but we're looking to expand there as well.
So when we're talking about expansion, what were some of the principal things that your board thought were in place that where you felt comfortable enough to say, okay, we're ready to take this leap?
For expansion overall into any place?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think what was really important is we wanted to make sure that we were delivering as fully as we could for the fellows in New York, so that we had a real model that we could scale. And then after that, it was thinking about if we have the confidence in what we built, and a lot of that is having a curriculum that's already set in place. A lot of that is learning over time in terms of what works best for the fellows, what doesn't work best for the fellows. That's when we felt like we had really an opportunity to go somewhere else and to be able to affect even more students. Because a big premise of America Needs You is that we take very high potential first generation low income students, of which a very small percentage of them graduate, as Ron mentioned. But it's not for academic reasons. It's usually because there's a lot of pressure at home in order to bring money. It's easier to get a job at that time as opposed to staying in college. And what we do is that we basically help those students get to the next level. And then that has a enormous impact from an alumni perspective on their ability to get back to their communities in order to set role models for the communities as well, that it can be done, the potential can be realized. So for us, when we thought about scale, by going to another city, we're actually able to create that same effect where we bring some of the most high potential low income first generation students, make them successful, and then it radiates back in the communities as well. So we felt we had a place where we knew that we could help the high potential kids get to the full potential that they can get to. And then now if we go to more cities and go to more places, it allows a bigger halo effect, which is what we're trying to get to.
Right, makes a lot of sense. This is a difficult operating climate for nonprofits, and yet you're growing and expanding. Can you just talk a little bit about what you see right now as the biggest challenge facing your organization and what the board is doing to help address it?
Sure. So, funding is certainly a challenge, which you allude to by the operating climate. So we were very strategic when we thought about Illinois and the opportunity to develop corporate partners and board members and raise funds, as well as the local need. So as we continue to look to expand, we are adapting our strategy to lower our cost per student, which we provide an extreme amount of value to our students. It's also quite expensive. And one of the things we want to do for future fellowship programs is partner with universities such that they're providing some of the resources, location, some operating staff to help run the programs while we provide the content and the know-how and the value add above and beyond what the universities can do on their own.
Yeah. And just to add one thing to that, I think our biggest challenge is making sure that everyone throughout the country has the same awareness of the challenge that Ron mentioned at the very beginning, of how there's a lot of been great programs in charter schools that help kids make it to college, but then not a lot of great programs to help them complete college. And as awareness builds with that, what we love about America Needs You is that because it helps everybody, it's actually easier to scale and easier from a funding perspective, because you may have corporate sponsors who are willing to help because they're looking for that demographic. Universities already have programs and things that are targeted towards that demographic where they have available funds that they can use. So as long as we just get people aware of the problem and the solution that we have, I think then we're going to be able to scale, and funding is less of a concern in that way.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time. This is Amy St. Pierre with New York Nonprofit Media, and we've been at the board table here with Ron and Aditya from America Needs You.